Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. An embodied experiential space for you to drop deep into the wealth of wisdom within your being and activate a fuller, richer you. I am a feminine awakener, thought leader, embodied business doula, sacred business midwife, healer, and all-round medicine woman. I am here to guide women deeper into their essence and power, to activate their life force, awaken pleasure, and support them to live an embodied life. I will help you birth your visions, dreams, creations, desires, and sacred business into the world from an easeful, embodied, and rooted place within. My work supports women to become more available for life, love, relationship, connection, creation, pleasure, and wealth. I will activate you into self-leadership and self-mastery to truly live an embodied and awakened life. Welcome on the journey, my love. Hello, beautiful woman. Welcome to the Embodied Woman podcast with me, Rebecca Wilson. Welcome back if you've been here for a while in our community, diving deep into all of the episodes. And welcome if this is the first time you've arrived here with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. In today's episode, I wanted to speak into something that is really present for me at this time in my life. How to become a resourced woman. First of all, I wanted to speak into what does resourced mean? This can mean different things for everyone, but for me, resourced is a state of feeling I have capacity for life. There is a fullness inside of my own being. I have an abundance of energy, or I have an availability to tap into energy in my own body and my own being. I feel grounded and rooted in my own body. I feel I have the capacity and the ability to feel into my inner world, my own being, to be attuned to how I'm feeling inside, the expressions of emotion that rise in life experiences. To be resourced is to feel I have and embodying my boundaries. I'm able to access my yes, my no with a sense of ease. And I am present. There is presence for me in connection and relationship to myself, to life, to others, to my business, to my family. And all of those threads of connection are sourced from the connection that is within. Another piece I wanted to speak into, which moves hand in hand with this state of resource in which I'm talking about, is the states of regulation and dysregulation. So first of all, what is regulation? Well, regulation is when our nervous system is in a regulated and present state. We are operating and experiencing life from the present moment. There's a sense of groundedness, spaciousness, curiosity and creativity also live in the state of regulation. I would also speak into that here there's a state or a sense of ease and grace in the body, in our energy field, in our being, and we move through our experiences of life, our day-to-day experiences, from that place of ease within ourselves, meeting each moment as it is present, rather than from a dysregulated place. So what is dysregulation? Well, dysregulation is a state in the body and the nervous system where we are in one of the nervous system reactions: fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We are reacting to our life experiences or the emotional wave that is induced from some experience that we have, whether that be towards life, in relationship to self, in our business, in our leadership. Often when we are in a dysregulated state, we are in a historical expression or experience that is held within our body and nervous system. We are in a just like when. This experience of XYZ that happened today is just like when I was 5, so I must fight, I must flight, I must freeze, I must fawn to be safe. We can also arrive into a dysregulated state when we are not present and we are in the future. So often here, anxiety lives in this state of constant worry or anxiousness about something that has not yet happened yet, that has not become, that has not arrived into manifest. It lives in the what if energy. What if this happens? What if that happens? This could happen. This could happen. It's a state of worry inside of the self. And what is true in this is that it is not grounded or rooted in the present moment. And often there isn't a sense of ease or spaciousness here, but rather a sense of contraction or constriction in the body and the system. So I often get asked by many of the women that step into my world, how do I become regulated? How do I stay regulated? And I'll often share, well, you don't. If you're a human, living a human life, in a human body, having a human experience, in relationship to anything and anyone, including yourself, then you will not live a life completely regulated. That is not the design of life. To be resourced inside of yourself gives us the capacity and the availability to move from regulation to dysregulation, back to regulation again. This is what I believe and I feel in my own felt sense of my body and my heart and my being. Being resourced is having the capacity to recognize that we have moved from a regulated state to a dysregulated state, and to have enough resource inside of the self to be able to, first of all, become aware, I am dysregulated right now. I can sense that I'm reacting to this situation. I'm in a sense of fight. I can sense that I want to run. Flight energy is in my body. I feel frozen, or I feel I am fawning, disconnecting, shutting out, disassociating, or playing dead. They're all nervous system reactions that take us into a dysregulated state. Being a resourced woman is recognizing that and having the awareness, the tools, the practices, the consciousness, the presence with the self to take what you need to arrive back into a regulated state of being. A resourced woman is a woman that is able to move through the spectrum of regulation to dysregulation and back to regulation again. Or we could also see that as from a state of presence to a state of disconnect, back into a state of presence again. There is such a illusion, and I know that I lived in this for many years of my life, that it's possible to live completely regulated all of the time. This cool, calm persona of being really chilled, really relaxed, having it all together, almost as if life doesn't impact or affect me, you, whoever, absolutely at all in any way. But that isn't life. I often find that if we are believing we're living in that state of being, we are in some way disconnected from ourselves, which in turn means we're disconnected from others and life itself. When we are in relationship to anything and anyone, including ourselves, there is going to be times where we feel discombobulated, where we feel dysregulated, where we're not sure, where we're in reaction, where we feel we need to defend, where we feel we need to withdraw, we possibly hide inside of ourselves or run for the hills, and so on. They are all states of dysregulation. Being resourced inside of the self allows you the ability to recognize what state of reaction you are in, and then in turn, what you may need to bring you back to you. The human experience is wildly complex at times, and I believe it's designed in this way for us to move sometimes further away from ourselves in order to move closer to ourselves again. And there's this sweet dance that happens when we're in relationship to ourselves, and that relationship then informs the availability we have to be in relationship to life and to others. Moving from a state of chaos to a state of calm, or I would prefer to use the terms to move from a state of chaos into a state of curiosity. Because sometimes calm is a really far away state of being to find when we are in a triggering or activating experience, when we're in experience emotionally that has touched an old pain or wound inside of ourselves. To try and calm the body down in that moment, to try and calm the self and the nervous system down in that moment, can often leave us bypassing the power of the experience, of the wisdom, of the teaching, of the awareness that arrives from recognizing. So this is where curiosity lives. Curiosity also lives in a regulated and resourced state. We are seldom curious and creative when we are dysregulated, because we're in a state of survival. We don't need to be curious and we don't need to be creative when we're in a state of surviving. Rightfully so. That is the primal response in the body. We're just focusing on, how do I survive this moment, this experience? Curiosity is a state of being that provides more openness, an ability to get curious. How am I feeling in this moment? What is it that's happening? What has happened today that has activated me in some way? What interaction have I had that has taken me into a state of fight, flight, freeze, fawn? I wonder, how could I explore those interactions differently? What would I need if that experience was to happen again? Would I connect to my body with a hand resting on my chest or my legs? Would I need to take 5 minutes to ground, connecting my feet to the earth? How would it feel to breathe in those moments, to create some space between myself, the experience, and the reaction? And that spaciousness that we can often find with these simple but powerful practices offer us an opportunity to move out of reaction and into response. Responsiveness is rooted in a resourced energy, in a resourced body. So how do we become resourced? A resourced woman is often a woman that has healthy boundaries. around her time, her energy, and what she needs in order to resource herself. Very often, we're deeply conditioned as women to pour out of ourselves into our life experiences, into our relationships. So much so that we can end up in a state of depletion. When the system is depleted, it is not resourced. Taking care of the whole system and the whole being allows us to have an environment and an ecosystem and a landscape within that is resourced. And that can look like many different things. Taking care of our health, eating good quality foods, exercise, nature, movement, meditation, therapy, embodiment, nervous system healing. There's many, many tools and practices that can support us in our daily lives to resource our inner world. Often, what we find and what I have experienced with the women that I've worked with is that we wait until we are drained, until the internal world and the inner landscape is completely poured out, until we arrive into that state of, I need to resource myself now. I'm at my capacity. I'm beyond my edge. I am depleted. What I am here to support and guide women into is, how do you resource yourself even when you already feel resourced, so that you don't end up draining yourself into a state of depletion? So that when life happens, which it will, it always will, experiences happen, things come in, moments are had, emotions are touched and activated, stresses come in. If you're, in any form of relationship to family, friends, community, partnership, children, being in relationship itself is a pathway to dysregulation, but it's also the pathway back to regulation as we heal in relationship, but we also wound there too. It's this beautiful paradox and this complete loop of energy that I experience myself so deeply, and I'm sure you do too. So how do we as women resource ourselves enough so that when life happens, we do not hit a state of depletion? We have a resource, a bank of energy, of capacity to be able to meet those experiences that life bring from a state of curiosity, groundedness, rootedness, and presence. Staying in presence and relationship to the experience, ourselves, our emotional body. And then in turn, whatever life is bringing. So we don't have to reach that state of complete poured out, depleted system before we begin to take care of ourselves, before we hit the emergency button and feel like we need to disconnect from the whole of life and take care of the self, because that then becomes a state of urgency, a state of fight and flight, another state of survival. And it's that urgency piece that is also rooted in dysregulation. Having a sense of agency is rooted in regulation. A resourced woman has an agency around her life, around what she needs, around the choices that she makes, the actions that she takes in order to fill her cup up. When we arrive into a state of urgency, we are already operating from a state of depletion, from a state of dysregulation. Taking agency over your own life, taking action to arrive into agency, is a radical act of self-responsibility. When in relationship to yourself, to life, to other people, to your clients, to your community, to your business, to your team, to your children, your partners, and so on. There's so many relationships we're in. Taking agency ownership and responsibility for yourself, your emotional landscape, your nervous system is the most profound gift you can give to yourself and to everyone else and everything else that you are in relationship to. And that's the only piece of responsibility that we need to hold, to be completely responsible for the resourced state of your own being. In turn, all those that you're in relationship to take responsibility for their state of resource. And then everything is in right space and right relationship with itself. Here then we have greater capacity when life brings its moments, its challenges, its conflicts, its ups and its downs, to be able to ride the waves and navigate the experience in a state of connection. Often we experience pain or wounding or traumas in life because of stressful situations that happen that cause a sense or a state of disconnection. Disconnection with yourself, your own body and your own feelings, exiling parts of yourself into the dark basement of your psyche, and also disconnection from the external relationship to others, to life, to people, to communities. Being resourced allows us to stay in connection to self, to our body, to our nervous system, to our needs, and simultaneously staying in connection to the external relationships that we have, because we are resourced and rooted inside of ourselves. Being resourced is a state of being able to attune to your emotions and your needs moment to moment through the experiences that life is bringing for you. This is the deep embodied work that I guide and support so many women on, to become resourced inside of themselves. If you are a woman yearning and longing to arrive back into connection to yourself and your body, I have some limited spaces available and open for my individual feminine awakening mentorship, and also my individual embodied business mentorship. There's 2 spaces here, a space for women on the awakening journey and a space for women in business creation and leadership. These are mentorship spaces that guide you deep into embodiment, healing, and integration, so you can become more available for connection and relationship within yourself and in turn the external. The links and details of both of these mentorships are in the show notes. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you, or any insights, you can check me out or meet me on Instagram at Rebecca_Wilson_. And I am here, my love, to guide you deeper into becoming a resourced woman. Hey love, I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. If you loved this musing and sharing, I would love for you to share this episode far and wide. You can arrive into all of my offerings at rebecca-wilson.com. Links to dive deeper with me are in the episode notes. Remember, my love, you are here to be the fullest, most potent, powerful, embodied version of you. I am here to guide you into that. Hey love, I'm dropping in here to welcome you to join us in our online community membership, The Village. I created this space for women to gather, to return to themselves, to deepen the connection and the relationship with self, whilst held in a community of like-minded women walking the journey and the path of their own awakening.